Welcome back, everyone. We got a great guest. We got Kasey from Deadlands, and also you saw her live with Nita Strauss. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Well, let's get into this. Everyone knows you from your covers and playing live with Nita Strauss. Can you tell us about your band, Deadlands?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a metalcore band. We've formed, I think, like a year and a half ago. I'm not entirely sure. My concept of time is horrible. But yeah, we're a metalcore band. We're from Long Island, New York. This year we actually have a tour coming up. We have
Mhm.
our first headlining tour ever, first tour ever, and I think it starts August 26th. We're ratting down to Blue Ridge Rock Fest, which is
Oh yeah.
awesome. And we have another festival coming up too. But yeah, we released our first EP, Sentence of Myself, last August, I
Mhm.
think. So it's been a year since we released something, but now, we're teasing the new single. It's called
Mhm.
House of Cards. It'll be released on August 18th.
Nice.
And it's very exciting stuff. I'm so amped for people to hear it, especially because it's like, okay, Sense of Myself was good. She was nice for her first release. And now like House of Cards is like 10 notches up above that. And it's one of those songs where you're like, are we gonna top this? One of those. But I'm so stoked for it, and I can't wait to play in front of everybody, play our
Mhm.
songs. The boys are excited. We're ready. We're absolutely ready.
And with you saying you're gonna release a new song, would you say you've grown more as a vocalist? Because I know you do a lot of different styles, but would you say you've grown way more since the last release?
100%. And even I with YouTube Shorts, I've been uploading those, and with that being said, I have to like go back into my camera roll and then like put them all in a Dropbox and
Yeah.
like you know do the whole thing. But I have to look back on my videos, and I'm like, the amount of improvement from just like this past year, I guess doing it consistently and like all the time has been insane. And I'm so happy about that. Especially like even in the new stuff that we've been making, like the vocal ability is like I even just looking back on the old videos in my camera roll, like trying to re-upload them back to YouTube, I was like, "Oh my god." Like I can't I cuz you don't think that you're improving when you hear yourself. Like you're just like, "Oh, this is normal, whatever." Like cuz it's so slow, but comparing the old videos to now, it's like insane. And I'm very very proud um of myself cuz I one of my goals is just be better, do
Yeah.
better in everything that I do. Like I always want to be improving. I always want to get better. Which is why I like practice my ass off all the time. Like the one takes and my other covers, they were literally just meant to be practice for like, oh,
Mhm.
when I have a band, I'll go on stage and
Yeah.
this is what I'll sound like.
Would you say, because I know you do your covers, you say you do one takes with your other ones, as someone that also covers stuff, does it take a lot of takes for you with some of them, like with it being different styles or?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, especially Sleep Token covers. I'm like terrified of, but I love Sleep Token. So I try so hard to emulate Vessel's vibrato. Um and it's so difficult, but it's just like I don't care. I need to get all of the takes so long as I can get that right take. Cuz once you do get it, it's like, "Oh my god, that sounds sick,"
Right?
and that's really what, like, especially like in the studio, I will do 1,000 takes over and over and over again because I want it to sound perfect.
Oh yeah. Oh
Mhm.
yeah. And then I also read that you're the lyricist of the band. How do you go with your approach with writing songs for your band?
Well, for the first half of Sentence of Myself, when it came to Crushed and Shallow Breath and Black Hole,
Mhm.
I actually had those lyrics written from when I was in high school. And
Nice.
like Crushed is about me getting over an abusive relationship and finally like empowering myself and being like, "Oh, you want to see me crush? Well, guess the fuck what? You're not going to see it because I'm rising up. I'm rising up out of the dust after you fucking did all your garbage to me.
Yeah.
So, I don't have to take that anymore." Um Actually, Shallow Breath, I just kind of had a whim. I had an idea, and I was like, this is something that I need to write about. I started getting into Dayseeker at that point, so I was like, I kind of want to mix Wage War and Dayseeker together and see what happens.
Nice.
And that's how we came up with that song. Um, those lyrics, I just kind of sometimes I get stuck on a word. Like, yeah, I'll get stuck on a word or like a phrase. I'll be like, shallow breath. I read that in a book one time. Let me write a song about it. And then I just kind of, it just flows. With Black Hole, I had that written in high school. I think I wrote that when I was like a sophomore or something.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's very interesting to see like the fact that a high schooler's lyrics were like good enough to be appreciated is like insane because high schoolers are dumb. I love high schoolers, but like me as a high schooler, I was stupid as hell, but I was apparently writing bangers in my bedroom alone, even though I didn't know how to pick up an instrument or anything. So it's very funny to me. But for the new single for House of Cards, I was so hooked on like writing a poker themed song.
Nice.
So I was like, let's see how many poker terms I can sprinkle into 3 to 4 minutes. So, and it's like when you hear it, it's a very angry, like it's almost like the sequel to Crushed, sort of, but it also like, oh god, I just wish it were out so I could.
We're excited to hear it.
I'm so excited. But what I did was I looked up a poker glossary.
Oh,
and
shit.
I was like, oh my god, so this has a double meaning to this, and this also mean like it was just that was written in like 20 minutes. I was like, done deal. Once I had the chorus, everything was just natural. It was great.
So you're like one of those vocalists where when you write the music and then that's when you write your lyrics?
Yeah. Or sometimes I'll come up with lyrics beforehand and I'll just be like, hey, can we do like a da 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 da? And they'll be like da 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 da, and I'll be like, yeah, like that. So it depends. If I have lyrics on the ready, I'll just be like, can we do it like this vibe, this rhythm? Can I give you this riff? And then they'll be like, sure. Or when we're writing like the lyrics and the music at the same time, I'll be like, why don't we put like a swell here and then a this there, and then it's kind of, I don't even know, it just kind of
it happens
sometimes.
And what I've learned, because I've listened to Deadlands, you have many different layers and many different types of styles. Do you bring that into the new single that you're gonna release?
Oh yeah. I think that's one of the most versatile songs that we have in regards to like so many different styles are used. Even in the chorus alone, there's so much going on, and I'm so excited. Even when I would like go to my friend's house and they'd be like, "Oh, play House of Cards," I'd play it, and the people who didn't listen to metal, didn't give a shit about it, they were like, this is amazing. Like, I want this right now. And I'm like, well, I can't give it to you right now, but one day. But like, it just shows that there's a lot of versatility in it, and that it appeals to more than just metalheads, which is really cool. But it's not like a radio song, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you never know though. There's like those bands that, like, you've heard of Jose Mangin. He brings in a lot of those bands, and that's what we need. We need something where they're giving us something new, nothing like that we always hear, So you never know, it could be a radio song. He brings a lot of stuff. Come on, he brought Lorna Shore. Like Lorna to the Hellfire wasn't, like they weren't that radio band. They didn't have that radio. Deathcore wasn't radio until guys like him. So you never know with that stuff.
I mean, we're gonna try. We're gonna see what we can do.
With how much traction you're getting, like hell, like you with your covers alone, dude. Like you could sing so many styles, and that's how you caught my eye before knowing anything more about you. You're crazy. You could do a lot of styles.
Thank you. I really do try. It's one of the things that I'm like, like I said, I really just want to get better and improve all the time. And I know we say like, oh, we strive for the best. I don't think there's such thing as the best, especially because the best is subjective. You can't say like, oh, this restaurant is the best I've ever had, or you could say that you've ever had, but it's just the best restaurant ever. Meanwhile, like the person next to you is like, nah, that one's across the street, you know?
Pretty
So
much.
the best is subjective, but I do strive to be the best for me. The
Well,
best that
what's cool is like as a woman vocalist, you don't see women nowadays. They stick to one genre. You're doing raps like how like Falling in Reverse does, and you're doing deathcore vocals like Will Ramos, but you're also singing like Sleep Token. Then you bring in like you've covered Linkin Park and you've done your own stuff. You That's what people should strive to be. Like you can cover almost anything. And that's a lot already.
Thank you.
It's
I really
versatility.
that. And that's one of the things. I'm like, I want to be the jack of all trades. I said this in I did a podcast with she's with the band of Knotfest. Alicia and Tori, they were super, super nice girls. I love them. Um, and they were saying like even for women, like it's so hard to make it in the scene and kind of
Mhm.
feels like you have to be like the jack of all trades
You do.
in order to like actually pique people's interest, which like sucks. But at the same time, it's like, there's the industry is so saturated right now to the
Mhm.
point where it's like you never know like you just scroll, scroll, scroll. Oh, that person's cool. Scroll, 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 and like you really need something eye-catching, ear-catching in order for people to really pay attention. So I'm very thankful for the point that I've gotten to, especially being self-taught. Like
Dang,
it's
that must be crazy.
yeah, it's very rewarding to the point where I'm like, "Oh my god," like, I have a great bit of imposter syndrome when it comes to, like, what I've gotten and stuff, and believe me, I really do work my ass off. I don't wanna
Oh
be
yeah.
one of those guys that says that, but, like, I work very, very hard 24/7 to try and make Deadlands the best thing it could be, to try and make me the best that I could be, and, but like I taught myself everything. So yeah, it's wild. It's
That
wild.
must be crazy because like you'll see like Melissa Cross and Dave, like those people, and they're talking about how you should sing. Do you ever have those moments while like getting ready for a show where you're like, oh, it kind of feels like a little scratchy down there, or do you know different ways to warm up?
Well, what I'll do, so I had one lesson with Melissa Cross while I was on tour.
That
And
must
I
be
because the reason is I think I played in Utah. Was it Utah? I don't remember what it was somewhere in the middle west, Midwest. There you go. And one of the shows, I was just cracking so bad. I don't know what it was. I was like trying to do everything to prevent it. I was on like a strict no dairy, no
Mhm.
spicy foods, none of that, none of that. Like I was trying to follow all the rules as a vocalist and I just couldn't stop cracking. So one show after the show, I went back to the bus. I don't remember who it was that said great show, but I started crying because I was like, it was not a great show. I suck. I'm terrible. Why'd you even bring me here? I'm so bad. And they were like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "I just can't stop cracking. Like it's ridiculous. I don't get it." So, Josh, the drummer of Nita Strauss, he called up David Draymond and was
Mhm.
like, "Hey, can you help her out?" And he was like, "I mean, I could try." And he's like super strict when it comes to stuff vocally. Like he won't even clear his throat a certain way.
Dang.
Like I cleared my throat when I was talking to him. He was like, "Wait, don't do that. That's harsh." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then so I was getting a couple tips from him, 10-minute phone call maybe. And then he put me in touch with Melissa Cross, who
Mhm.
gave me like a whole warm up thing. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, and so I think I'm going to start taking lessons with her. Because why not? If I can get
Yeah.
better, why not? If I can unlock things that I've never unlocked before, what's the point? But anyway,
Not just that, look at Harper, man. Like she went from the show that she, auditioned on. Her vocals were good, but look where she's at when she does Bow Down with You. When I saw that, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like
right?
and then dude, I'm not even a big I Prevail fan. I was like, wow, you guys, like, I wanted more. Like I was like, dude, you guys should put out like more covers.
I got something for you. Me and Harper have been working on the full version of that, and oh my god, you just reminded me that I need to send my video over to her. Okay, sounds good. So I will send that as soon as we're done here. But so that's coming out soon. And
That was sick.
going
Dude.
back to like the warm-ups and the things that I do, but so I now use the Melissa Cross warm-ups,
Nice.
the soprano warm-up, if you will. And I also have like a Dr. Vox device that I use.
Mhm.
I haven't really used it as a warm-up device just because I have not had the time to sit down and learn the warm-ups themselves. However, I will in drier climates, which is when my voice is like, oh, it's the worst. Like Arizona, Nevada, those are the places where I was like suffering
Oh
when
shit.
it came to like how dry my vocals were, especially because it was hot.
Mhm.
Like there was no humidity whatsoever. So, um, what I did, I pretty much just like I filled my Dr. Vox with water, and one side is a straw that you can like inhale like mist, so it's almost like vocal mist, and
Mhm.
that's what I would do in between songs or like at a solo if Nita's doing. So
Nice.
yeah, those helped a lot. Um, especially during what show was it? Colorado. Colorado being like a super high altitude place.
Yeah.
And that was one of my best shows vocally, at least I think. Um, and I was doing that like as much as I possibly can, and I think it really helped. So there's that.
And then you were saying earlier, like, you guys been a band for like Deadlands have been a band for like a year and a half. Going on such a like crazy tour like Need as compared to what you're gonna go to, do you think this prepared you for your tour that you guys are gonna currently do?
Oh, 100%. If I did not go on the Nita tour, I would have no idea what to expect. Um, and I mean, it's still like it's vastly different, with
Yeah.
the Nita tour, we were on a bus, we were in like the luxury-ish, as luxurious as you can get, when it comes to like a smaller tour like that.
Mhm.
Although it was still like packed. But nonetheless, now I'm literally gonna be in a car. So it's going from venue to venue, hotel to hotel in a car is different. Staying in hotels every night is different.
Mhm.
But at least now, like I have an idea of like, okay, we gotta schedule a bus call. This is where we can get food. This is how the payments work. Like it definitely introduced me to how things run firsthand. And I learned a lot for sure on that tour. And I'm so grateful for the experience. Like even let's say even if I never went on tour with them again, like I'm so eternally grateful for that.
Yeah.
But I am going on tour with them again in November, but
I was
so
hoping that because I wanted to go. I'm gonna go. I'm from LA, so I'm like, dude, I gotta go see them live because I missed out last time. Yeah, I was gonna go. It just schedules happen.
of course. No, it's gonna be a great time in Mammoth. Like
Mm,
Wolfgang,
yeah.
that's gonna be sick.
You're
Yeah.
gonna have a solid time. I want to go back to like where we were talking about lyrics. Being a lyricist, lyrics you've written, like, is there any that hit you hard when you're playing live for yourself, your own music?
Oh, definitely. With our song Black Hole, I that song is super, super emotional. It's super sad, a ballad, and it came from a very rough place in my life to where like I have depression. Um and a lot of people I'm sure can relate to that, to where it's like it just feels like you can't get out of your head.
Yeah.
You can't get out of your life, and so it's like everything just feels like it's swallowing you whole. And I feel that very often, especially being like stressed out, dealing with a lot of stuff. But that song emotionally definitely still hits hard to this day. No matter how many times I perform it, like it's still gonna hit a soft spot.
Makes sense. I mean, especially being like you're the lyricist, so it's always gonna be a thing, you know? And
Mhm.
it's gonna always and what's cool is like even though you go through depression, like that's gonna help your fans. They're gonna help relate with you because a lot of people go through depression too. So and toxic relationships like you were talking about earlier. So
Mm,
that helps a lot too.
yeah. In the new song House of Cards, like one of the main points I tried to drive home in the song was like the juxtaposition between the verses and the chorus and like the duality of feeling more than one emotion at once because I
Yeah.
mean oftentimes and not like you'll feel sad, you'll
Yeah.
feel you'll feel depressed, um and you'll feel angry too. Like you'll be angry at the world, angry at someone, angry at yourself, whatever it is. Like that song really captures the duality of having two emotions at once, and it's like you're feeling this way but on the opposite end it's this, and then you're just kind of being pulled back and forth in your brain.
Yeah.
And it's like when you hear the song, oh god, I just want to show you. I'm like, you'll hear what I'm talking about when it's out.
Well, I'm excited, man. Like it's gonna be cool, man.
It's gonna
Um,
be so
and with you having so many like different layers and different styles, who would you say your biggest influences are?
Chris Motionless, Spencer Charnas, Amy Lee. Hmm. You know, I always get asked this question, then I always blank.
Hey, it's okay. It happens.
Yeah. Oh, Ollie Sykes. Ollie Sykes for sure. Um. Yeah, I guess that's what I would say for now. We could take a look at my wall.
Yeah,
I got
you got
got
some
a bench
Avenged Sevenfold.
Sevenfold. Yep. We got. I think that is that Crown the Empire right there. They were like the first band that actually got me into metalcore, so definitely, definitely would put them on the list. But yeah, I would say Motionless in White and Ice Nine Kills are like the biggest ones. Um, they Motionless was like the first metalcore band I like really fell in love with apart from Crown. Um, so they like they just hit different,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
agree. And what's
And then,
cool is you've done like a lot of motionless like covers. I've seen that.
yeah.
And you've gotten their attention. And what I love to like note is that you got to do you got to do Slaughterhouse with them, dude. That's sick.
Dude, I play it over in my brain every day. It's crazy. I still, cause I went up on that stage and I was like, I'm literally shaking like a leaf. I could not move. And then everybody was like, "Oh my god, you fit right up there." I was like, I should do acting because I was so
You killed
nervous.
at it, dude. I watched the video a million times. I was like, man, dude, to have that happen, it shows your hard work and your like how crazy like devoted you are to doing your shit, dude.
Thank you. I really am. And even for that opportunity, holy shit. Like I could not thank him enough. Cuz Chris was the one that he asked me up like the day that tickets dropped. So it's not like that was just like a day of the show kind of thing like, "Oh, want to come up on stage?" Like we planned this. So I was like, "Oh my god, it's nuts." And then we also have some stuff in the works too.
Hell yeah, dude. You
So it's gonna be
you're getting to a point where you have like so much to announce, but you can announce.
I know, and I'm like,
Hey, but it's okay.
ah.
That's how it rolls when you're doing killer shit, dude, and making solid moves, man.
Definitely.
Um, what was the prep for you doing Slaughterhouse? Like you said, he asked you when the tickets dropped. Did you start practicing and rehearsing? Like, well, I guess it's rehearsing. I guess you know his lines that you have to sing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I it's so funny because I was like, "Oh my god, this is a great feature on a song." Like, I'm like, and I always learn like the entirety of the song, but when I was younger, I used to really focus on like, okay, what if I learn this super good, and the artist like invites me on stage. Wouldn't that be sick? Because I've seen Attila, um, I've seen them so many times, and they brought fans up for Payback one time,
Mm-hmm.
and so they would just be like singing back and forth or whatever. There's no feature in that song, but I just always was like, it's my dream to be brought up by like my favorite bands. I think everybody says that too. Like a lot of people can relate to that, especially being vocalists and stuff. But I was just like, yeah, let me practice this and everything. Let me make sure it's solid, and then you never know, maybe something will happen. Lo and behold, I found myself standing on the stage at Hulu Theater in Madison Square Garden, and I was shitting my pants.
Awesome, dude. That's a huge accomplishment too.
It really is. I'm so happy for it. I can't get over it. I still can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as for like the prep work for the song, originally we were gonna do sound check, but their bus broke down in the middle of the night, so they were late. But I like, just in case, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get there at, I don't know, 11 o'clock. I like drove 2 hours from Long Island into the city. I was like, yeah, I'll be here at 11. Show doesn't start until like 7, but it's fine. I was like, we'll just walk around, get food. Who cares? It's just lollygag in the city. And so we never got to do sound check. There was no rehearsal or anything. We did like a run through on. Chris played it on his phone. He was like, all right, I'm gonna do this part, you're gonna do this part, we're gonna do this together, we're gonna do this and that. I was like, sure, yeah, whatever. And so it came out pretty good, I think, at least.
Oh, dude, that sounds great. I mean, for not having a sound check, that sounds pretty fucking great, dude.
Thank you. I got so nervous when they had the mic. They like put it under a riser, and I couldn't see it from where I was standing, so I was like, I don't really see the mic. Can we move it to a place where I could see? And so he put it on top of the riser. I was like, my worst fear is like going on stage for a feature and then not seeing a mic anywhere. And then like everyone's like pointing, they're like, there. And I'm like, like who's this bitch on stage? Why is she there?
I feel with how much you've done, like Chris Motionless stuff and like covers, I think they knew who you were. Come on, they're not a real Motionless in White fan if they didn't know who you were. Come on, your little like TikTok you do where it's like you're Chris Motionless, and then like, come on,
the blah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty sad if they didn't know who you were. Like that'd be a sad moment.
Yeah, I think so.
With you getting ready to gear up for a tour and a festival, how are you prepping right now for that tour?
Well, right now we're focusing on the release of House of Cards, so it's mostly just prep work for that. However, most of the prep work I did before I left for tour, just to make sure, like, okay, let's get as much as we can out of the way. Let's try and do our thing. So this way no one has to really worry about it. But I mean, most of the prep work comes with like, making sure you have like the right merch amount, making sure that you show up on time. Most of touring prep work comes like the day of, for that show, if that makes sense.
Especially as a vocalist, because as Taylor was telling me, you really can't prep your vocals for a tour because it's different every city or place.
Correct. Absolutely correct. And I mean, you can try your best. Like you can run some cardio when you're doing vocals at the same time. But I actually saw this today from the drummer of Crown the Empire. He was like, no two live shows are the same, especially because you're in an adrenaline rush. Like,
oh yeah.
When you're in the adrenaline rush, guess what? You got no clue what's going on. Your brain just goes into autopilot. So you can't really control, like, you can try to pace yourself as much as possible, but you can only pace yourself so much,
I agree. And then how do you guys go about making your guys' set list?
Since we don't have that much music, mostly we kind of just we're like, all right, what are the songs that people are going to enjoy the most? What are the songs that people are gonna vibe to? And then normally, if you have ever seen a Deadland show, like if we're the headliners, normally we'll throw in like a cover medley, just because like we want to fill up space, and a
Mhm.
lot of people love the cover medley because like, sure, we don't have that much music, granted, but everybody has seen us from TikTok. These are all
Yeah.
covers that I've done. um one of the covers that we do live, I've gotten roasted for too much auto tune. So I'm like, a lot of those comments that I get, which I do use autotune, granted. It's like if you want a professionally sounding cover, you're going to use autotune, and I'm very transparent about that. Um, but it's not like, I don't have it turned up to T-Pain. I have it to like, I don't know, 30, which is more on like, this is T-Pain, this is nothing. I have it to like here.
I'm
Majority natural voice, like probably 5-10% auto-tune.
I mean, but can people really get like that mad or annoyed or like roast you? Like some people don't know what it takes to be a vocalist, myself included. I mean, yeah, I've done choir, but it's not like being like a live vocalist for a band. It's not exactly the same thing. There's different techniques and different sometimes people use autotune. What's the problem? As long as you're not completely changing yourself.
Oh yeah, and that's what I say too. A lot of people, they just get mad. You get the trolls. I'm used to it at this point,
I
but like,
mean, I would expect that for sure.
geez, the elitists too. Like, I whenever I do a Linkin Park cover, I get rated to filth. Like, people do not give a shit. They don't give a shit if you're like the mega fan of Linkin Park, if you have Linkin Park tattooed on your face. They don't care. If you're not Chester, shut the fuck up. That's what they say. So it's like, how how do you expect people to like pay tribute to somebody like that? And then you're gonna be like, oh, autotune, like they never used it. I don't know. I have.
People don't get it. They just don't get it. They like what I've learned from doing covers myself. People like to be critics, but they don't want to do any of the work themselves. You don't have any covers out. Why the fuck you talking shit? Why
It's
don't
always
you do
hard.
it and tell me how it goes, and then you can talk shit because it's a whole different ballgame from putting yourself out there compared to just being what do you call it, a text warrior, whatever it's called, you know.
Keyboard warrior.
There
Oh yeah,
you go.
shoot those digital bullets. Nita Strauss, Chris Motionless plug. But yeah, no, it's very frustrating. Um, it's always the people with like 2 followers and no posts too.
Pretty
Every
much,
single time,
and no
following
photo,
following 10,000 people,
no photo.
no photo, nothing. It's always a. And speaking of Nita and digital bullets, like that really rings true. When I heard that song, I was like, first of all, the song is incredible. Um, but the meaning is literally like digital bullets. You're shooting over a keyboard. It's literally about the trolls and the keyboard warriors and everything. And I was like, this is a great song. I can't wait to sing this live.
Well, the thing is, she got so much heat because she decided to leave Alice Cooper to go to Demi Lovato. Why are you mad? She's accomplished so much in metal, more than a lot of women have.
Yep.
Sorry, she wants to go try pop for once. Oh, she came back. She felt no. She's into doing everything. She's not trying to just be in a box, and people
Yeah.
don't get that. That's
Yeah.
where your covers come into play. You're not trying to be molded into a box. You're not. I'm a deathcore vocalist. I'm a metal. You sing everything. People don't get it.
No. And they just get mad no matter what you do. So at that point, it's like, no, it's none of your business, you know.
Right?
And when she was actually talking to me on the bus one day about like how mad got that people got
They
at her
did.
for the Demi tour, and she was like, I am literally bringing metal into the world of pop, like, especially because Demi is now going like through like a more rocky route,
Mhm.
which a lot of the pop people are doing, surprisingly, but not surprisingly. Metal's elite. Clearly, metal is like the best genre. I mean, I'm biased, but like whatever. Like Miley Cyrus is one of those people too. But so you're telling me if you went to a pop concert and you saw, as a metalhead, if you saw like the guitar player absolutely shredding to a Demi Lovato song, you wouldn't be like, that's insane?
That's sick though. Like look at Nuno Bettencourt. I think he plays with what, Rihanna? Like
I didn't know that.
yeah, he we all know him from Extreme, but he's done pop. He didn't get any heat. It's cuz she's a woman. That's where I don't mean to bring that like into it, but it's like that's how it starts to become. It's like why are you guys all like gatekeeping the fact that she's actually bringing more women into the genre and musicians and making it okay for me and you to actually be able to do this and feel comfortable and not be like, oh, show your tits. Oh, she's hot. Yeah, she is hot, but you're talented also.
Yeah, I say this all the time, and I was dumb, and I was like, oh my god, if we get onto Blue Ridge Rock Fest, because we got on like a fan
Yeah,
vote via fan vote,
that's
and I
cool.
was like, I'll do a cover in a bikini. Like, didn't think it was gonna go anywhere. Turns out we won. And so I was like, well, shit, now I have to deliver. But I don't like sexualizing myself, especially because it's like, listen, I just turned 21 not even last month, this month. It's still July. I turned 21 on the 5th, and I'm like, that's kind of weird that people like some people got really mad because what I did was instead of doing like an actual like just a bikini, I did a t-shirt under the bikini. So
They can't get mad. Come on.
I know. I'm like, listen, I held up my end of the bargain. I'm in a bikini. What else do you want from me? They want boobs. Going back to my point, I'm 21. That's kind of weird that you want to see a 21-year-old's boobs.
I think it's weird when 50-year-olds chase people that are 21, like
That's
ones that have
exactly
been in the industry. It's like, dude, that could be your kid.
yeah, exactly. That's so weird. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Like I did it, but I say this that I'm like, I don't like sexualizing myself really. So and if you want to, yo, more power to you. Like my friend Hannah, Scene Queen, she wears, she has a song called Pink G String, for Christ's sake. Like, and she's killing it. She
She's a
she would
badass,
drop,
too.
like what?
She's a badass.
Oh, she is such a badass. I fucking love her to death. And she kills it. And she does it in her style, which is totally fine if she wants to sexualize herself. Dude, that's all her. Like, that is her life. Let her live it. Let her have her image. She's fucking flying. Who cares? But it's like, for me personally, I would just rather shape, more like women in the industry to be more. You don't have to
Yeah.
show skin if you don't want to. Like sometimes I'll get in something a little more on the edge for me, which is mostly like normal clothes to other people, which is fine. But it's like you don't have to show your tits. You don't.
That's true.
But if you want to, sure. But like there's not a need for it. It's whatever you want, whatever you feel. You know?
I feel you on that. So with all the different styles on, Anita's new record, how did you go about prepping for all those songs like to tour with?
Oh my god, I'd practice them all the time. All the time. To the point where I would not hang out with people because I'd be like, sorry, I have to practice. Like I would make sure that I'm like doing every song. I would put it into my rig. I would put it into my rig, make sure I sound as similar to the record as I possibly could.
Mhm.
Try and get all like the little tweaks and things that they do and try and just emulate them as best as I possibly could. Um, and then after I got down, like, okay, this is how I think this is the closest I could sound to them as much as possible. Then I would add my own spin on it,
Nice.
to where it still sounded like me. But it was just a lot of practice in the car,
Mhm.
on the way back from like school. I would be practicing on the way to work. I'd be practicing just constantly all the time.
And then did you fly to LA for like any like you got like work before the tour, like rehearsals?
Yeah, so we all met in Louisiana actually, because they have a house in like New Orleans too.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Louisiana and we all did like the pre-production and everything. Um, so we were doing more practice there for like I think it was 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 days, and then once the bus got to the rehearsal space, then we were out.
Nice.
Hmm. So it was a fun time. That was very nice. We had Chick-fil-A like every day. Tropical
Chick-fil-A
smoothie
is
almost every day. That's my shit. Tropical smoothie. I love that stuff. But yeah.
Chick-fil-A's the best, dude. Whoever says not is ridiculous.
Dude, I know. And so the people who don't like smoothies like are mind-boggling to me. Especially because there's so many ways. Do you want like a savory? You want like a chocolatey one? Or do you want like mango citrusy goodness? Like that's up to you. I love smoothies. I could literally
I'm
go,
loving your obsession with smoothies. I'm just enjoying it.
dude, you want to hear something so upsetting?
Let's hear it.
So next to my gym, there was a Planet Smoothie, and I would go there all the time. After I worked out, I would get my protein shake, and I would go home, and then I would just vibe, and then I would get ready to record, and then I'd record, and then I'd sip on my protein shake. Planet Smoothie shut down.
Dang.
I was like, dude, I would have thought that I would have kept you guys alive.
That's
I
my
keep
guess.
in mind, I still have like 10 free smoothies that I have to redeem. There's no other Planet Smoothie like on Long Island, so I have to search. I don't know. It's very
Maybe New York. Maybe New York. You could drive the 2 hours to get just stay there for 10 days so you can get 10 smoothies.
definitely.
With your solid following on social media, did you end up meeting a lot of your fans on this tour?
Oh yeah, at least two a night, which
That's cool,
doesn't sound like a lot, but for having, I think it was 26 shows, so that's like 50 people already, and then there was some nights there was like 10, 15, and it was awesome. I loved it. I loved meeting everybody. The only thing that I didn't like about meeting people was the fact that like we had to keep the line moving, so I felt like my interactions had to be like super short. I was like, I just want to have a conversation with you all the time. Like, kind of sucked. Like, I love talking to them. I love hearing what they have to say. Like, so kind of. I just wish it were longer.
Hey, but that's cool. Like a lot of people you do meet on tour, some they don't want to socialize with their fans, and some do, and it's kind of nice when you do have those moments, you know.
Definitely.
And then, did you have a favorite song you enjoyed playing each night on tour?
Okay, I have probably I was gonna say I have two, but like I really enjoyed all of them. But one of my favorites, shockingly, this is one of the songs that I was kind of just like, oh, I think I'll be indifferent to it. But Through the Noise, which features Lizzie Hale, was like one of my favorite songs to perform because it was like a break song for me. And I was like, oh, I know that I can hit these notes solid and be comfortable on the stage and just like, let it rip, but like take a breath,
Yeah.
And then I loved Cowboys from Hell was sick. We did a cover of that one, and especially in, was it Houston or Dallas? I don't remember. It was where they're from in Texas. I can't freaking remember, but
I think it's Dallas, to be honest with you.
it might be Dallas. I think it is Dallas. I'm like dumb, so
You're not
I don't
dumb.
know what's happening until the day of. But Josh told me, he was like, this is where Pantera is from, and I was like, oh, that's this town. So during Cowboys, like right before we started to play it, I was like, listen, guys, I need you to bring the energy for Vinnie Paul, for a dime bag, and I need you to pretend that they are on this stage jamming with us. Because who knows? They might be. Maybe they came down from the fucking sky and started jamming as ghosts. We never know. But treat this as a tribute. Like this is their
Yeah.
hometown. So that was an energy that I, hadn't experienced. And it was, you know, throughout the tour, like we would like pay tribute to like Vinnie Paul. I think it was
Yeah.
one of the days was the anniversary of Vinnie Paul's death. So we would talk about that, make sure that it was noticed. But the energy in Dallas was unmatched. To the point where I was looking at the crowd, and as soon as I said Vinnie Paul and Dimebag, everybody was like, "All right, we're bringing it. We're bringing it."
Yeah.
And they delivered, and I was very happy about that. So
That's
Cowboys was
that's
very fun, super difficult, especially just because like I don't normally do like Pantera style vocals. It's definitely more on the trickier side for me, but it was still a lot of fun to like get in there and pay tribute to such
yeah.
legends in the industry.
And with you saying like Cowboys is kind of difficult, was there any other songs for you that you felt were a little difficult even though you prepped them a lot?
Yeah. Victorious was probably the other super difficult song. Dead Inside. Dead Inside's got a lot of weird breathing places. And it's a lot of long sustained notes and rasp and funky places. Um, so that was a weird one, but I still, of course, like I enjoyed playing every single song.
Yeah.
Um, Victorious was just high, and since it was later in the set, that's when my voice starts to get a little like tired because you're trying to bring the
Yeah.
energy the whole time, and pacing yourself, especially when you first walk out there and get that adrenaline, is hard.
Yeah.
Um, but Victorious was so much fun, especially hearing the crowd sing it back too. It's like that's a great feeling. But
I bet.
um, doing that, it was very difficult, especially because I do 2 runs at the end. Um, and trying not to crack on those are so difficult, especially because all you just want to do is like, "Ah!" like belt it out, but like you need more control than that. Hard to control yourself. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though that you know that though. Like you know where you have to control and where you kind of could do this and that. That's smart. And with you covering like a lot of the stuff, because she had a lot of really awesome people on those. Did any of them compliment you?
Oh yeah. Like you're saying, like any of the artists on the album?
Yes.
Yeah. So David Draymond, when I was on the phone with him, he was like, "Listen, I hear nothing wrong with your voice. Like, I think you're doing like a great job, and I think they really picked like the right person for the job." And I was like, David
I
fucking
bet.
Draymond just said that to me. That's insane.
Yeah.
um, I don't think I spoke to anybody else. I didn't speak to Dorothy. I didn't speak to no. No one else
They
really.
probably saw though for sure. Because come on.
I would hope so. I'm
I
sure it's
mean,
something they
you're
did, but
like the queen of doing vocal covers. It kind of seems like that's what I see on TikTok and Instagram. So,
thank you.
um, so this was like one of your big first major tours. Did you get any tour rituals?
Um, I kind of did. I mean, my makeup was the same every day. I started at the same time every day. I got into a bad habit where I would stay up late, just hanging out with everybody, and then we'd lose track of time, and then I'd be like, "Oh shit, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Sound check is like, we
Yeah.
can't really gotta get up decently early, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you want to eat something." um, so then I would sleep until like 11. And in the last week, the bus was like not working with how hot it was.
Oh shit.
So I'd wake up in like a pool of sweat, go out into the front lounge, try to like cool off as much as I possibly could, and be like, what the hell? So think like 4 hours of sleep and
Shit.
then going to sound check
That must have been
and
fun.
then going back and sleeping in the bus until like 7. Like, it was like, oh my God, ridiculous, terrible habit. But before every show, we always like put our hands, in like a thing. Nita says a little spiel about today. She's like, bring the heat, bring everything, and let's go fuck it on 3. So we say 1, 2, 3, fuck it. And yeah. That's one of the tour rituals that she brought from Alice. And then I don't think I have any other really tour rituals.
It's okay. Did you have any like crazy rider requests? I mean, learning now that you're not 21, so I don't see you having too crazy.
I don't think I put anything on the rider. We just had fruit and water, Gatorade.
I'm surprised you're not like everyone else. We had hummus on tour. That's one of their as everyone's like tour rider requests right there.
Is it?
Yeah, hummus, and then they like the charcuterie boards. Those are everyone's 2 hugest things.
You know what? That's a wonderful idea. I'm gonna text Nina and be like, "Hey, can we have a charcuterie board on the rider?" Dude,
that's what they say. Like that, because they're easy. Like to like still they could sit out, and that was what a lot of people say. They could sit out for a while, and they're not gonna go bad like crazy quick or.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, did you have any crazy eating habits?
For the last 2 weeks of tour, I'd have a grilled cheese all the time, or I would get Applebee's like daily. I would get my chicken wonton tacos with my strawberry mango smoothie and a French onion soup for after show. And I would live off of mac and cheese as well. If Applebee's was not available, it was Velveeta.
That's awesome, dude. What was, except for because you were talking about that Dallas was a very memorable show for you. What other ones were your most memorable shows?
Dude, LA, especially because
Nita got engaged.
Oh yeah, 100%. That was one of the defining factors. I mean, talking about the show itself, but I was crying when they got engaged.
Hey, but that makes sense. I mean, it's an emotional time.
Oh, 100%. But talking about like the show itself, Josh was like, everybody was hyping LA up. They were like, listen, this is going to be the hardest show. This is the most important show on the bill. Like, we really need to bring the fire for this. We really need to get everything perfect before LA. And so, everybody was working super hard. And I was like, dude, I need to make this show like people are never gonna fucking forget this. That's all I was remembering. I was like, I need this to be one of the best shows vocally. I need this to be, oh my God, I've never seen a fucking female vocalist do that before. Like, I just wanted to stand out because you have all the industry people there as well. Yeah. It's not just fans in the crowd, which Josh was also saying. He was like, yeah, usually LA people do this during the sets, and you're lucky if you get this. So I was like, let's see about that.
Did you get a lot of that?
What?
Did you get a lot of the whole crossing your arms?
No. Luckily, there was a pit going.
Mm-hmm.
And so I also did one of my bucket list things to do, which is just like stand on the crowd, like Spencer Charles style. So, and the poor fans, they had no idea what to do. Like, because normally in the front, they're mostly just like, and like putting their hands up and stuff. But I was like, come here, hands up. And then one of the fans, he's actually one of like Nita's patrons. So he like knows us and everything. He comes to all the shows. He'll like fly out, follow us, whatever. He's awesome. And I saw him in the crowd and I was like, listen, I know you're strong. You could hold me up. So I just fucking put my foot like right on his face. Not on his face, but like I was like, I put it in his face so he kind of knew to like grab it. And so I did. I stood on the crowd and it was great. It was wonderful. And then Cowboys from Hell jumped down into the mosh pit and almost got beat to shit. So that was great.
At least you did it though. That would have sucked getting back on stage. You're like, oh, dude, I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But it was great. So I think Dallas and LA were like best shows.
Nice.
Mhm.
So with you doing so many different vocal styles, how many, especially with your covers, how do you approach them?
Um
And then you collab with a lot of people so far. Who would you love to collaborate with next?
I mean, stating the obvious, Chris Motionless, Spencer Charnas. That's obvious. But if we're talking like the TikTok internet sphere, Nick Nocturnal. We were originally gonna do something, and I don't know what happened. I think he might have forgot.
I think you're
I
gonna have
should
to
hit him up
email
again.
him.
I should be like, hey man, let's do
I think
something.
you should. I think you should. And then what's your like top 3 favorite collabs you've done?
Oh, Harper's,
That one's
100%
awesome.
bow down. I don't know if you would count the Motionless and White thing as a collab.
I consider it just because the fact that one, you had to be there and do it, and two, you had to like learn a certain part. It's not like you just, it wasn't like it was a recorded version of him. It was actually him right there.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess that would definitely be one of them.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you count the Needed thing either, but
Like I said, if it's in person or like, like how you and Harper did, I think it counts because in all honesty, like you were there, you had to work with them. It wasn't like you weren't interacting. It wasn't like you just decided to what do you call it? You know how like you could remix your cover and I can add bass to it. That's different. I don't consider that collabing. I consider they took your track and then you actually had to work with them and make time for them and
yeah. So there's my list.
And then what would your dream tour lineup be?
Motionless in White, Iceland Kills, Bring Me the Horizon, Nita Strauss, Deadlands.
Nice. And would you have them play certain records? Nita would, of course, play her solo stuff, but would you have like the other bands play certain records?
All of them.
All
All of them. Give me the entire discography.
So like a whole festival, it'd have to be them doing like a few days of, okay, we're gonna do this one. That'd be sick though, dude. I would pay to go to that. Like I'm very excited to go see Motionless in White with Knock Loose.
Oh, I'm going to that too. Which day do
I'm
you
just
go
like,
to?
yeah. I'm going to LA.
I'm going to October 28th. It's in New York. Hammerstein Ballroom.
Now he should have you come out again, but now you're singing with the dude from Knock Loose.
With Brian. Well, I mean, listen. There's, like I said, there's something brewing.
Hey, I can't wait. That would be a sick collab. Like, especially that would be a sick collab. You, Knock Loose, and Chris. That'd be sick.
That'd be nuts. That would be.
That would cause a lot of violence, I think. In the
oh yeah.
broken arms, broken legs,
broken everything. 100%.
And you brought up bucket list earlier. I tend to ask about people's bucket list. You've already accomplished so much. What bucket list items have you feel like you've accomplished already?
Going on tour, seeing the world. Well, seeing the United States. That was one of the things that I was like, when I die, this should be when I kick the bucket. Going on stage with one of my favorite bands. A lot of these are like kind of just things that, you know, everybody's aware that kind of happened.
Yeah, but they mean the most to you, though, you know?
Yeah. I had a beignet. New Orleans. That was great. Fried dough, yummy. Yeah. I don't really know.
This should be an actual question. I didn't even have this on my list of questions. So did you have a smoothie in every city you played in? That should be on your rider list, man. You have to have a smoothie at every venue. There you go.
Dude, I really should. I should put that on there. Give me a strawberry chocolate banana smoothie and we'll be good.
And then I'm gonna go back to bucket list. What else do you want to accomplish? Like bucket list items.
I want to take Deadlands on like a real tour. I mean, obviously what we're doing is a real tour, but it's like a week long. You know, it's something extensive. I want us to be gone for like 2 months. One of the things that I've really been wanting to do, we have a lot of people that help us out just like out of the goodness of their hearts and they believe in us. And one of the things that I really want to do is like pay them back. Because in all honesty, like we have not paid ourselves. The money that I have made, the reason why I make a living is because of touring now. And because of, you know, like sometimes I'll do like paid collaborations with companies when like they want me to cover their song or something. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, sure. But as Deadlands, as a band, we have not paid ourselves. And I want to make sure that my boys get paid. I want to get paid. I want to make sure that we can pay all the people that help us out. Like our manager right now, he's like, he's not even taking a penny from us yet. He's like, you guys can pay me when you get big money. And I'm like, okay.
Well, you guys are gonna get there. Like you guys already have the following, especially for an EP. Look at your following on Instagram alone. Like, yeah, it might not seem a lot compared to yours, but it's growing. You guys are eventually gonna get picked up on big tours, and eventually, you never know if you're gonna actually do Nita and Deadlands in one night. That'd be sick.
That would be
nuts. You guys tour together. You never know that. The cool thing is, you guys are just gonna get bigger. That's all that matters, and eventually, you will be able to pay your manager and all that stuff. So that's all I see like happening with you guys. You know, you guys are just gonna get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And then, so I love asking people because everyone has a daily playlist. Does your playlist change when you tour?
No. I mean, I'll add songs. Like sometimes I'll hear a song from like an opening band. I'll add it. Um, but for the most part, like my playlist is 750 songs.
That's a lot of songs, dude.
Yeah, and increasing. Like I just added the entire Nita album.
Yeah.
I added the entirety of the Call the Void to it. So now it's probably at like 760, but whatever. I don't really need to change it. I'll add stuff to it, but I don't need to like unless I'm maybe I have my Metal Madness playlist, which is obviously is metal music. And then I have like a 2000s pop music playlist.
And what's on that?
Pleasure, Britney Spears.
Ooh.
Britney Spears, 303, Katy Perry. Like
I was kind of hoping you say some Spice Girls.
yeah, exactly.
I was hoping that at least, because come on. That's
Totally.
and Pink.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that'd be a sick collab, you and her. That'd be sick.
Dude, that'd be sick. Me and Pink.
Dude.
It'd be pink and purple.
Yeah, there you go. Dang. And I like asking, what advice would you give your younger self?
Keep pushing, dude. Keep working. Work hard. Strive for your goals because apparently they are achievable. I used to call music one of my impossible dreams. Um like I used to want to run for office. Now I don't give a shit about politics. But I used to want to run for office. I used to want to act. And I always wanted to sing. And I was like, it'll never happen. Take it up as a hobby, but like you're not going anywhere with it. So it's an impossible dream. You're probably gonna be stuck working at a desk job like everybody else. And bitch, it's not so impossible now, is it? Look at what you're doing.
You're
You
killing
know?
it.
It's crazy.
You're killing it. And what advice would you give to people that want to follow in your footsteps?
Just fucking work, dude. If you really want this as bad as you say you do, then work for it. Like it's not easy. You're gonna endure a lot of shit, but if you really want to live your dreams, you really have to put in the work.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. And then for someone checking you out for the first time, what videos or songs would you suggest to them?
First Crushed is definitely like the versatile song as of now, since House of Cards is not out yet. But if I were to refer them to like a cover, if I was like, oh hey, check this out, I'd probably do like one of the Spirit Box Ariana Grande ones. You know,
Nice.
I did Circle with Me as like Ariana Grande, and I think that's really funny because you get a lot of people that are like, oh my god, like you can do the impression, and they're like, oh my god, what the hell's that? So
It shows the versatility, though.
exactly.
That's my opinion. And then, what could everyone expect from you in 2023, 2024?
Big things.
Oh, I bet that.
This is, you know, I say this every year. I'm like, this is the year for us. This is the year for me. This is the year for Deadlands. This is just the year, and it just keeps getting better.
That's good though.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Like we're already booked up until December.
Dang.
You know, so
And you're going on a tour in a few weeks, and then you're gonna go on another tour in like a few months.
So we're just making strides.
Yeah. And then where can everyone keep up with you and buy your EP?
So if you want Sense of Myself, you can get it anywhere that you listen to music, whether that be YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. I don't know any of the other ones, Amazon, whatever. And you can follow the band at Deadlands Band. You can go to our website for tickets, deadlandsband.com. If you want merch, you could go to deadlandsmerchstore.com, or you could find it through our website. If you want to follow just me, I am at Kasey Karlsen on everything, whether that be Threads, Instagram, TikTok, all that jazz. Yeah.
Awesome. And I'd like to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was very fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. We'll see everyone next interview.